Guys, you need to watch this video.
Africa has been the provider. If you look at Europe, Europe cannot survive without Africa. One situation that people don't realize, post-World War, when the US came up with the Marshall Plan, what they don't tell you is that the contribution through exploitation of African minerals was actually the biggest funder of the European Recovery Plan, ERP, aka the Marshall Plan. US contributed $13 billion, which is now present day $175 billion, which, by the way, the American taxpayer must be paid back. Nobody's asking for that money back. But what they don't tell you is that Africa, through exploitation of its resources by the Europeans, was actually a much, much bigger contribution to the European recovery post-World War II. Nobody talks about that. Why does such a continent that did so much to help Europe recover continue to be so poor? Let's be realistic here. Let's not talk about peanuts. Africa does not need the aid. What we need is for those who are exploiting Africa to stop. Africa has everything it needs. If Africa could have contributed as much as it did to the recovery of Europe post-World War II, why wasn't Africa equally developed?
Guys, surprise where me chicken that for body this 2025. So now Africa been they supply the Westerners all the things they use to develop their own country. Now they are telling Africans to go back home. They did not develop us. They are still making us up to date. My problem is that our leader, they don't care. It is only people like the president of Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traoré, that have woken up and tell them enough is enough. People like Nigeria, some other African countries, they are still being selfish. They still want to amass wealth for themselves and their future generation, thereby leaving their citizens in abject poverty. I wish all of them will wake up and tell the Westerners enough is enough. You guys have ripped us off for so long. Now is the time for you to stop so that Africa can enjoy what God has given to them.